Hi, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a laptop case. Wouldn't be this style, but it would be a different version of this case, this bag. Stay tuned and let's get into the video. I had a little problem with the video just now, so while I was doing this flap, but let me just explain how it's done. You have it cut into this shape, and with right sides together you stitch around, then you clip the corners, you fold, you turn it inside out, you press, and then you give it a top stitch of 1 centimeter width all the way around, and you overlock here to keep the ends nice and neat. And I went ahead again and I did my buttonhole in the center. You can use Velcro, but I decided to use a buttonhole. And that's what I did, this flap. So now let's get into the pocket. I have my interfacing iron on to that side. And for this side, with the right sides together, I want my pocket lined. This is why I'm doing this. With the right sides together, you can pin, but then we're going to give it a 1 centimeter stitch at the top of the pocket. Remember to back stitch at the beginning and the end of your stitch line. Okay, then we're going to give a top stitch straight across. After that, you can go ahead and press to keep it in place, and you can also pin in place. And this is the beginning of our pocket. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a straight stitch all the way around just to hold the opposite side, this piece here. So let's just stitch all the way around, just 1 centimeter. And this is our pocket so far. Now we are going to fold it in half to find the center, and you can press that as well if you like. We're going to put a pin to indicate where our center line is at the top. And we're going to go over to the ironing board and I'll show you our next step. Okay, this is our pocket. As I said, you fold your pocket in half to find your center. When you find your center, you put a pin to indicate your center point. Then you'll go over to your ironing board and you press in 1 centimeter all around. I went ahead and did that. So now we're going to set this aside along with the flap. For the body of the bag, I have this fuse here, but it's a what they call it, double-sided fuse. I pressed it on to this. Once you press it on, it stays on. So I went ahead and did that for both sides. Now for one of these sides here, we are gonna be marking in. As you can see, I went ahead and did the marking as well, and the marking are all 5 centimeters apart. So what you do, you measure from one side. This is the side I measured first. That's 5 centimeters, 5 centimeters all along. 5 centimeters going this way, and you do another 5 centimeter in all these lines. Then and you mark them. If you don't have a fusible fleece or a fusible stabilizer, because this is a stabilizer, if you don't have that and you have those ones that you will have to stitch in, you put this fabric on top of it and then you pin so that it stays in place. Before you do that as well, you make sure to mark your lines before you pin. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to go ahead and stitch these lines. Okay, and this is what we end up with. Beautiful, beautiful quilted squares. Yeah, so if you follow the instructions correctly, and probably if you have this same fusible stabilizer, you will get the same result. But it doesn't matter what padding, stabilizer, whatever you use, as long as you quilt it, you will get whatever result you're supposed to get. Okay, so now we're going to trim the excess stabilizer around. Okay, now that we have finished trimming the outside of our two pieces, we're going to be joining these two together at the bottom of this, at the bottom. So we're going to put the two right sides together and you're going to pin in place. Pin in place, and you're going to stitch 1 centimeter straight along here. remember to back stitch at the beginning and the end. So we're gonna have this long piece here. Okay, the interfacing is already pressed on the wrong side of the fabric, and we're going to fold the fabric in half, and you press all the way down. When you're done, you open and you fold again, and you do this for both sides. Okay, and you should have something like this. See? Okay, when you're done, you fold over again and you press. Now that we have our straps ready, pressed and ready, we're going to be top stitching on both sides. Okay, when you're done, your two straps should look like this. Now we're going to attach the strap to the body of the laptop case. From our center point, 6 centimeters across, and you put the end of the strap at the 6 centimeter mark. And from the line that we previously joined the two halves, we're going to measure up 5 centimeters. So from this point, 6 centimeters, and from that point where we join the two halves, 5 centimeters, and you pin your straps in place. When we're done, we should have your straps looking like this. Okay, this is what we're looking for. This is what we are looking for. And the reason for all this stitching is to make sure that you have a strong handle. Alright, you go ahead and do that and meet me back here. After that, we're going to give it a 1/4 centimeter stitch all the way, top stitch all the way around. And you come here. Remember to back stitch at the beginning and at the end to keep your pocket strong in place. And you can meet me back here once you're done. Remember, because of the 9 centimeters here, it would be enough to reach at the end of these straps on the other side. So by the time you come down to here, you're going to have enough room to cover that end. So just make sure you have enough room to cover this end of the strap. Make sure to clip all of the threads that's hanging. Leave your work nice and tidy. All right, you take your pins out, and your pocket should look like this. This is your pocket here at the front of your bag. Next, what we're gonna do, we're going to get our flap. Make sure you have it on the right side, on the correct side rather. This is the correct side. So what we're going to do, we're going to flip it over. And we're going to pin it like this. You go ahead and pin, and I'm just going to stitch because I don't really need to pin this. All right, and we're going to stitch right across a quarter. We're going to stitch right across here 1 centimeter. Back stitch at the beginning and the end of your stitch line. Okay, your flap should look like this. Not too much space between here because you want it to be nice and fitted. When we're done, you bring it over and you can put a pin to hold this, and your pocket should look like that. We're gonna give another 1 centimeter stitch right across the top of the flap. Back stitch at the beginning and at the end. Be careful when you're stitching that you move your pocket away so you don't get it caught in the stitch. See how this is flat make sure that your pocket is as flat as this, because if it's not, then it wasn't done correctly. Okay, and this is your pocket. All right, I'm just gonna put a pin here just to keep it in place for now. Next, what we're gonna do, we're gonna put our zipper at the top. Okay, we're gonna press the tabs, fold in half, wrong sides together. And you fold again to meet the seam in the middle on one side, and then you do the same on the opposite side. And after you finish with that, you give it another fold and you press. Okay, so now we have our two tabs. I'm going to show you how I cut the zipper to fit across the top of the bag. We have our zipper here, and I open it about halfway down. And make sure when you open it halfway down, it doesn't have to be halfway, but just open the zipper enough so you could get enough to cut at the end. So when you open it, please do not move it from here. Let this zipper head stay right here for now. Okay, now we have our zipper. First, what we are going to do is measure across the width of the bag from the top. From the top, we're going to measure straight across, and you're going to leave 1 centimeter on both ends. So I already have it pinned here, so I'm just going to measure from my pin, and you're going to go across and measure, leaving 1 centimeter for your seam allowance. And what I measure here is 41.5 centimeter. So what we're going to do is cut our zip 41.5 centimeter. You're going to measure at the bottom. You're going to measure from the bottom here. You're going to measure from this point up 41.5 centimeter. And when you get that mark, you're going to put a pin, or you can get a pencil or something and mark it so you know exactly where you're going to cut. Once you have that measurement correct, then you go ahead and you cut. You take your pins out if you have pins in your zipper. Because you cut the top of the zipper here, hence why I said do not move the zipper head. Let it stay exactly where it is. All right, let's go across to the machine, and I'm gonna show you how to put this together. Alright, for this tab end, we're going to take a tab, and we're going to put this tab exactly like this. And if you can't hold it together with your fingers, you can always pin. I am going to pin this one because it's a bit fiddly. Make sure that you have the pin at the same in the same place on the opposite side, because we want to make sure when we do the top stitch here that it catch the back piece. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and stitch right across here on the fabric. Remember to give a back stitch at the beginning and at the end. And this is what we're looking for. Don't worry about the ends, we're going to come to that in a minute. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing at the top of your zipper. You're going to hold these together and you're going to do the same thing here, but at this end you're definitely going to have to pin. Make sure that you catch the back as well. And we're going to do the same thing and top stitch right across the top on the fabric to hold the zipper in place. Alright, and here we have it. Now you can move your zipper. What I normally do is test my zipper to make sure that it is. Just test it to make sure that it is it's okay at the top. Because sometimes if you don't put the zipper, if you don't pin the zipper in place correctly, you will have one like this. But once you pin, what I suggest you do is put a pin in each one at the top where you cut, then you will be sure to get it correct. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. Now we're going to put the zipper in our bag. Alright, so now we're ready to put our zipper in the bag. Alright, first we're gonna cut. Remember those edges, those the extended bits on the zip, you can go ahead and cut them off. You cut them off close to the end of the zip. Like this. Okay, and we're going to take our zip. We're going to take our zip and we're going to place up. Let me show you first. This is our zip here. The right side of the top of the zip facing me. And we're just going to turn it over like this. So you basically have the zipper head touching the right side of the bag. And you'll pin this 1 centimeter away from the end. Remember, when you make your bag would probably be a different size to what I'm making, so hence these measurements as far as 1 centimeter all the way around for your seam allowance, but whatever you measure for your bag at the top is what you measure. But always have your seam allowance, always have your seam allowance at the end. You leave a bit off, so when you stitch, you don't get your zipper head don't get get caught up. Alright, so once we have that in place, what I normally do is pin both sides first. Just pin those in place. And as you can see, it fit right across the top. So we are going to pin in place all the way across. Alright, and your zip should look like this all the way across. Right, we're gonna now stitch the zipper in. We're gonna use a zipper foot and we're gonna stitch right across where we pin at the top, close to the zipper but not too close to get caught, so when you close it you get caught. Alright, so we just stitch right across here. Use your zipper foot if you have any. I'm going to change my foot. Okay, my zipper foot is now in place, so we're going to be stitching. Remember, take your pins out when you get close. You don't want to go over your pins to break your needle. And back stitch at the beginning and at the end to keep your zipper secure. And you trim. Alright, this is my zipper at the top that I just stitched. Okay, and this is it here. So you see the extended bit here. When you do your seam allowance to close up your bag, you have enough space, and this is why you leave seam allowance enough to close your bag. Same on this side. Okay, now we are going to be working on the opposite side. Remember your straps, you pin these straps out of the way. Okay, and this is your zipper. I'll turn it inside out just so you can see. I'm sure your zipper comes out just like this. And you see the beauty of it is when you have that space, when you go to close it, it closes neatly. Okay, we're gonna get our lining. Open your zipper. Turn this back on the wrong side if you did turn it inside out. Alright, you should have all your pieces cut at the same measurement. Whatever measurement you use to cut your bag, make sure your lining is the same measurement, so you won't have a problem when you come to put it together, because that's important. If it's too big, it's not going to be neat, and if it's too small, it's a problem. Okay, at the top of the zipper bit, we're going to take our lining piece, and we're going to, this is the side, the wrong side, and we're going to take our lining piece, right side of the lining, and we're going to place it right across. Okay, we're going to place this is a zipper. We're going to place this lining right on top of it, exactly at the same spot, and we're going to pin in place. This is going across the top of the zipper, and we're going to pin the other side as well. If your lining is a little bit too big, it doesn't matter, but it can't be excessive, because that's just going to be too much. Okay, we're going to pin that in place. Use the same method as I showed you before. Pin both sides. You do that first, and then you continue to pin along to hold the lining in place with the bag. I'm just going to put 2 pins. Alright, so that's what you should have. So when we stitch and turn it over, we have our lining. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the opposite side. Make sure to put your handles in the bag. Okay, we pin across the same way as we did the other one. And your pieces, your lining and your bag should look like this. Okay, I'm going to stitch across so you could see the exact, on the same line. If you like, you can stitch it from this end, or you can do it this way. I suggest you do it this way on this end, because you'll be able to see exactly where you put the first stitch to hold the zipper. We're going to go ahead and do that. And you're still, at this point, you're still using your zipper foot. Remember to, as you stitch along and you meet your zipper foot, you're gonna move your zipper foot out of the way so you don't get it caught in your needle. Remember, wherever you start and finish, always do a back stitch, and we're going to stitch all the way around 1 centimeter. Okay, so you should have this side from here. This is my opening from here down, and just a little on that end, and from the top down to this end. And what we're going to do, we're going to clip the ends, the corners, just clip so that when we turn we have a nice clean turn. You can do the same on the lining. Okay, so here we go. We're going to be turning our bag out. I hope you have your zipper open, or else you wouldn't get in. Sometimes it depends on the batting that you use. It can be really stiff to turn, but as long as the opening is wide enough, you should be able to get it through without any problem. You're going to push the corners out as much as you can. If not, you get something and you push it out like something with a nice point, so you can push that out. Try not to push too hard, or else you'll just rip your bag. Okay, and this is the lining here, so before we push that in, we're going to make sure and turn these 1 centimeter on both sides, and then we're going to do a nice little top stitch to close it in. And you can pin this as well, because this can be a bit fiddly for some people. You can always iron it to get that crease, or you can just crease it with your fingers, which is still have the same end result. And we're going to just put a top stitch at the on the outside of it. Then you're going to push your lining in. At the corners here, at the very end, you make sure and push it out like so. And if you have something to help you to push it out, then go ahead and do that without whipping your bag. At the end, we're going to put our finger right here, and your finger should be in here like that, and we're going to push it out like that. At this point, you can use your iron, just to a warm iron, just to hold this down in place. Hold your lining. Other than that, you're fine. If you have any excess threads hanging, go ahead and clip those, because sometimes we all tend to miss some threads. Right, and this is our bag. This is our laptop bag complete. It's really cute. If you have any questions, you can ask me them below. Leave your comments. Let me know if you like this bag and if you would like to see more of these bags and other things that you would like to see me make. Let's communicate. Let's interact, okay? This is your bag. I'm going to go ahead and put my button on. Let me show you what you can do. What I do, I get my seam ripper, whatever method, what method you use to open your zipper. I think this is one of my best ones for years. I just go in the middle of the zipper, of the go in the middle of the buttonhole. You put that right in the middle. You won't be able to see it much because it's a black fabric, and you put it in the middle and you just basically open it very little. I can use this whole thing and open the hole. But if you're not confident enough to use the seam ripper, you can get a scissors and you can clip your way down. But I'm going to go ahead and use this. Once you're done with that, you can either put a pin, or you can use a chalk pencil, and you just mark little dot right here where you're going to put your button, and my button goes right here. So there you have it. You can go ahead and do that and enjoy your bag and be proud of what you do. See you next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my videos for more uploads. Thank you.